Daniel Gallegos, Michael Westbrook here from YourRiderAthletics.com, joined with head baseball coach Steve Browning and head softball coach Corey Lyon. And gentlemen, we're here for a very special and unique season preview. We're going to be previewing both baseball and softball. Your guys' seasons crank up in full bore here on February 1st, just a couple of days away. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about this spring early on. You guys reported back very start of the semester. We were both blessed with great weather outside. Corey, talk us through a little bit about your team's preparation starting when you came back.
Well, we just, as far as our preparation goes, we wanted to be able to get on the field as much as we could, as far as, trying to use as much, the good weather that we had, we're trying to use it as much to scrimmage as we can. One good thing about, being able to have the fall and get a lot of the stuff in the fall and not having a lot of turnover at break, everybody came back pretty much understanding situationally, what we do, the game plan, and we were able to spend a lot of time in the fall really evaluating our team as far as that goes, so that, we have been able to spend a good deal of the good weather that we've had so far in the spring to do a lot of scrimmaging, to do a lot of playing, so that they can see game-like action. That's one of the things that I know, kind of taken from coach here in the last couple of years, that I know that they try to do that as much as they can, and obviously it's the proof is in the pudding. So that's something that we've really tried to do, and our girls have really bought into it, and we've been able to have some very competitive, good early scrimmages, and hoping it pays off a little bit this weekend.
On the flip side, Coach, Corey Lyon was just alluding to it. That's something that has really been a fixture of Mule Rider baseball. You guys go after each other a lot in inter squads. You bring out the best in one another, and it shows in the talented players that you have. But just talk a little bit about that invaluable experience that you get getting those game situations, knowing that you guys are coming back right around the middle of January, and then you got to start up February 1st and roll from there. So how important is it to get on the field against each other?
Oh, it's huge, and we're blessed to have a deep squad, and we do feel like when we put Team A and Team B out there that there's good talent on both sides. I've been here a long time, and I can't ever recall the last time we were able to be on the field the day we got back. Normally we get back January 10th, and Coach and I are arguing about who's getting on the football field first, because they got turf. Our fields are usually wet, and we're down there on the football field, but we were able to get more innings in. Our pitchers were able to get more innings in this spring than we have any other year. Our hitters were able to get more at-bats in than we ever have, and that's huge for us. And because you never know, teams are playing, you never know what kind of experience they're getting in, and we all know the weather's going to change drastically. You stay in South Arkansas long enough, you'll probably get all 4 seasons in 1 week. And so we got to get out there and take advantage of that good weather when we get that opportunity, and we've been blessed with the weather. We've been blessed to stay pretty much healthy because it has been warm, and we feel good about riding into open weekend.
Coach, the season starts this weekend, February 1st, and you guys are going down to Florida a couple of years in a row now to be able to do that. But Coach Browning, first, you're bringing in a team that's not used to having to play outside, even though they're in a cold weather city. Don't know what our weather will be like this weekend. A team that won 38 ball games last year. Tell us about your first opponent.
Well, Augustana, obviously, we feel like they're going to be really good. They like you said, they had 38 wins last year. They return a lot. They're going to be very experienced. I don't know. I know it's been cold up there in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, so I don't know how much they've been able to get out, but it doesn't matter. They're an experienced ball team. Looks like offensively they're going to be okay. Pitching-wise, they got a lot of depth back. They're a well-coached ball team. So, I think we got to do what we do. If our pitchers do what they've been coached to do all fall and have shown what they're capable of doing, we're going to be fine. If our hitters show up and do again what they've been coached to do, we'll be fine. It's going to be an exciting weekend. I know, like Coach here, when we're ready to get going, you can only scrimmage each other so much before you get tired of seeing that other color uniform, and again, you don't know a lot about guys until you get out there and they see that other color. You see some guys step it up to another level. You see some guys maybe back down a little bit, but we'll find out February 1st.
Softball heading to Pensacola, Florida. Going to take you a little longer to get there than it'll take Coach to get over to his field, but still going to be a fun time, I think.
It's a great trip for us. Just the idea of being able to go to Florida, in February, it's always fun. West Florida does a very good job. It's a beautiful place down there. It's a beautiful city, and so being able to go and play the competition that we're playing, it's going to be a tough test for us, but it's a great test for us. It's something that, it's like Coach said, we need to see it. We need to play somebody else. We need to see what our deficiencies are, and we need to see where we need to get better. And opening up back-to-back days against teams that are, that both won 46 games last year. That's a tough task. But I would say that if there was one team that I felt like could go in and be confident and play and compete and do well, it's this group I've got right here. So we're very excited. The fact that we get to get down there, we get to play 6 games, that's the big thing right now. Let's go play. Let's see where we're at. Let's see what we need to be better at, and have some fun. This is part of the experience that we want to be able to give our kids. We want our kids to be, we want our kids to see what it's like to play teams from a different region. Teams from that are going to compete at the national level, and hopefully we get a chance to play them on down the road.
Talk a little bit about the makeup of both of you guys' teams. It's a little bit different for each of you. Corey, your softball team returns a lot, so you've got a little more experience coming in. Coach Browning, you guys lost some significant pieces last year, but still have a good group of returners coming back in. But so there's still a little bit of unknown, at least early on with your baseball team. Talk a little bit about some of those unknowns and kind of how you guys are planning on filling a few of those voids, particularly in the pitching staff.
Well, like I was telling somebody the other day, I've been here for a while, and it's been probably 4 or 5 years since we returned our number 1. It was always like we had a number 1, the next year they were gone, whether they were drafted or whether they just, senior moved on. So it's always been good to see somebody else either come in that we brought in and step up, or somebody that was already in our program, take that jump. And that's kind of where we're at this year. We're going to, on our pitching side, you're going to see some individuals that were already here that have made that jump, that you've seen grow in your program, which is always fun to see. To fill some of those voids. We do have a few key pieces back to the puzzle, that saw a lot of innings for us last year on the mound. And we've had a few guys transfer in. So we've got a good mixture. We've got experience on the mound. It's just some of them don't necessarily have the experience, for SAU and in the Great American Conference. But they're well experienced, wherever they came from, whether it be junior college, high school, or, a few D1 transfers we have. So I feel fine. I feel like we're going to run a pitching staff out there that's going to compete. That's the main thing, and I feel like they're going to give us a chance to win every time we roll out there.
And of course, switching over to softball, inside the circle, your team may have one of the most experienced staffs coming back into this year. Obviously headlined by Hannah Gill, just a junior, but she's been outstanding in her first 2 years, numerous records. Your number 2 last year, Taylor Clifton's also back. Then you've brought in a couple of newcomers that will add some depth. Talk a little bit about your pitching.
Well, this will be, in my 3 years here, this is our best pitching staff that we've had. Obviously Hannah's accomplishments and what she's been able to do the last 2 years on the field, pretty much speaks for itself. She's a great competitor. She's one of those kids that's, no matter what she does, she's going to be successful because she's very self-driven. I've been extremely pleased with the way that Taylor has pitched, not only in the fall, but since, we've got back in the spring. She's taken on more of a leadership role, and I think for Taylor, that's something that she's never been really expected to do. And, she's been a great teammate, and both her and Hannah have helped our 2 young kids come in. We've got 2 freshmen this year. Both are incredibly talented. Shelby Miller has the potential to, I think, be, one of the best pitchers in this conference. And so, having Hannah and Taylor be able to kind of tutor and mentor her is going to be very important. The other thing that we have this year that we haven't had is a pitching specific, coach, and bringing in Aaron J. John, who was a 4-year player at Ole Miss, a 4-year pitcher at Ole Miss, to work with our pitchers. That's been huge also. There's things that she sees and things that she can fix, from pitch to pitch and from inning to inning, that are things that I can't do. So, having that whole package makes our pitching staff much better. And it's kind of scary because Hannah's won 49 games in her first 2 years here, and largely a lot of that from a technical side she's done by herself. Now having somebody there to improve her mechanics, to help her with mechanics, I mean, it could be scary how good she could be this year.
She also threw a no-hitter in last year's conference tournament, so that was obviously a big deal. This might be a similar answer for both of you. We'll start with you first, Corey. One consistency to both of your teams, you do both bring back your catchers, and that's kind of the other part of the pitching staff. So how important is that to you?
It's huge. I mean, being able to have the consistency, being able to have that cohesion. Sarah started every game but one game last year. So she caught 62 games, I believe, or 62 or something like that. And so having her behind the dish, that relationship that her and Hannah already have, there's unspoken things, and with the whole team, it's being strong up the middle. Softball's no different than baseball in that if you're strong up the middle, you're going to be good. And so being able to return Sarah, having freshman Jasmine Gibson, having sophomore Ashley Quintana, we also have a catching staff, and same thing with our pitching staff. We've brought in an assistant coach this year, graduate assistant coach this year, Brittany Howe, who played for 4 years at the University of Kansas. And once again, you've got somebody that's walked in those shoes and been able to see everything that Sarah has seen. And so just the day-to-day being able to help them with little things, it's allowed me to focus elsewhere, and I think has made our team much better.
And then most names that I guess public address announcers can't say, Ryan Durden. At no fault to the PA guys, it's spelled a little differently.
Right.
Tell us about him.
Well, he's different. Ryan's been great for us. Ryan, he redshirted in a year that really he could have played. We had a catcher that year that was a draft pick, and we knew Ryan was going to be special for our program, and so we elected to redshirt him and give him a year to get bigger, get stronger, and get a little better, and it paid off because the next year he come out was our main catcher, was a freshman of the year in the conference. Comes back last year on his sophomore season and backs it up with another all-conference season. I truthfully feel like Ryan's one of the best around. He's catch and throw wise, he's as good as they come. He'll shut down the running game a little bit. He knows how to handle our catchers. He's not a very vocal guy, but the pitchers respect him. They know that he's going to block, he's going to catch, he's going to receive, he's going to throw guys out. He's going to do every aspect of it. And the thing about it right now, he's going to hit the middle of the order for us. He's had a great fall, a great spring since we've been back offensively. He's the type of guy that could be a leader, be a quiet leader for our program. So we're excited. Like Corey, when you can have some experience come back in the middle of the field, whether it be catching, middle infield, center field, you feel pretty good about it. And so I think Ryan is that glue. Thing about him is we do have a couple other catchers, and Justin Buchanan and Drew Benefield, that are going to give us, we're as deep as we've ever been, kind of like Coach said, we're as deep as we've ever been on the catching side of it, which is great because it allows us to give Durden a little bit of rest when needed and still be able to put a very quality catcher out there. That we got some catchers that wouldn't be our starting catcher right now that could probably start for some other teams in our conference. So as a coach and as a pitching staff, it gives you some confidence that whoever you put out there that day is going to be okay.
And kind of looking at your both of your teams' lineups again, Coach Lyon, you're returning quite a few starters. On the baseball side, you have 4 players that played a lot in your lineup back last year. Each of them hit over 294, so very respectable numbers. What do you both see as far as your lineup with those returners coming back, and then also the influx of the new players?
Well, we have several guys returning. We have some guys that are going to play different positions than they played last year. So, when you look at it on paper, we don't have our starting first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, third baseman back, but we have some starters that just moved different positions, which made our team better. They're a year older, they're a year mature, they're a year being in our program, one more year, and we expect big things out of them. But, we are as deep offensively right now and have guys that are versatile to play multiple positions than I've seen in a long time here, which is a good problem for us. And I've told our guys more than once, make it hard for me to write that lineup. Make it when I write the lineup that maybe I question myself 10 minutes later and write a new one. And that's where I'm at right now. It is not going to be easy for me to make a lineup come Saturday because we have so many guys pushing. We have so many guys that can do different things and play different positions that even we need to bring a guy out, we may shift 3 or 4 positions by making one change just because we're so good defensively and have some guys so athletically that can do different things. And that's, as a coach, it's a great problem to have.
He couldn't pick just one guy to interview him, so he was too tough to make that lineup.
Yeah, we're the same. I mean, the one thing that we've never really had here since I got here, I mean, we've been building and building and building to try to have some depth. And, that's kind of the biggest thing that I see this year is, we've got competition for position. It's the same way. We returned 4 starters, offensively, Sarah Higginbotham, Darian Harris, Mackenzie Spanko, and Courtney Hudgens. Taylor Gwynn is making the move from second base to third base right now. But we've got a great influx of, we've got 2 junior college kids that I think are going to come in and make a huge impact for us in Audrey Farfan and Chelsea Ivy. And then you mix in the freshmen, and we've got some very, very talented freshmen. Maddie Dow, I'm telling you, there's not a lot of kids around here that hit the way, the ball comes off her bat different. Shelby Miller, Brooke Goad, and then you follow that up with, we've got some speed, and we've been able to add different pieces to the puzzle that give us power, that give us speed, that give us flexibility to be able to manage in-game situations and be able to take advantage of the rules as far as softball goes and the re-entry rule and those things to where, we can, we can do some things, and we have a roster that we can use. And, that's something that's been a challenge for us the first 2 years. And so I'm really excited about what we're going to be able to put on the field. And while we do have, like you said, we've got some returners and we do have some starters returning, we're going to have a much different look. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about what this team has done so far, as, with our games in the fall and with the scrimmaging that we've done so far in the spring.
Let's talk about the conference maybe just a little bit. On the side of softball, you're adding some new competition with Harding coming in, so there's 4 games right there that you have to add to your schedule. And baseball, I think last year we felt like it was pretty tough top to bottom, and I think we're seeing that again this year in the other sports, how close things are, and I would say that we're in line to see the same thing in baseball and softball. So I guess we'll start first and just kind of, I don't know what it does to you to have to add another team and play more games, or kind of what you're looking at as far as the conference schedule looks like.
Well, I think, when you bring in, schools like Harding, the one thing Harding's proven over the course of time is that, they're going to be competitive. So, having them come in, they're going to be competitive. Adding those to the schools that we brought in last year with Southern Nazarene and Northwest Oklahoma, the conference is getting better. Southeastern Oklahoma it's been a good deal of the year last year, ranked as the number 2 country in the team, or number 2 team in the country. You've got teams, Monticello, East Central, Arkansas Tech, that are all very good. And the thing that I think that you see is teams that were maybe considered the bottom half of the conference, a couple of years ago. 2 years ago we were picked to finish dead last in the conference, and now we've been able to make it to a point where, we're top half of the conference. And I think that you're seeing that with teams like us and Henderson and even Ouachita is going to be improved this year. And so there's not, I think there was a time where teams could look at other teams and say, okay, this one's maybe not as tough as this one, but the one thing that you see, and our conference tournament has proven the last 2 years, that I guess the average for error or whatever, it's growing smaller and smaller, and the teams are closing the gap on each other, faster and faster.
And Coach, I guess maybe some teams are saying that about you guys, maybe that little bit of separation, but even you guys are vulnerable. Every day is a different day.
I think our conference is good. It's very balanced. I know this, and we tell our guys this, and I hope they understand it, is you better hook it up every time you step on the field. because, every team is going to have a chance to beat you. And, and I like that. I truthfully, I don't want to roll out there on the weekend and know, you know what, we're going to rest a couple guys because we're going to beat this team. I like knowing that we got to hook it up every day, because I know for us to accomplish our goals, like Coach here, for our team to accomplish their goals, they're going to have to hook it up when it counts. They're going to be their best at the end of the year. And I think our schedule that we play non-conference, plus just our built-in schedule of our conference, allows us to be prepared for the end of the year. When you do get to the conference tournament, and if you are fortunate enough to advance past that, I do feel like we'll be prepared because of the teams we face throughout the year. And most of that credit goes to our teams in our conference. We've got some very good coaches. We've got some very experienced coaches that have been around forever, and we've got some new and upcoming coaches that, have done a really good job. And so I like that. I feel like we're very competitive, and I think it's going to be another fun year this year.
Baseball and softball is, of all of the sports, and I'm sure that there may be some other, coaches of other sports that would disagree with me maybe, but I feel like it is maybe the most humbling of all of the sports. We're talking about a sport where if you're up on the hitting side, if you're good 3 out of 10 times,
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, if you're going to fail 70% of the time, that's pretty good.
Right.
And so this is a humbling sport, and about the time where you think you've got everything figured out, you figure out that you don't, and so I think that's a big part of, the optimism that you have going into it is, I look at our team and I think, man, on paper, this is the best team that we've had, but I'm scared to death, and because you don't know, and so there are so many other things that go into it, but it's exciting, and that's why we do it, and I think that being competitive and having the competitor in you that I know Coach and I both have, I think that makes for a lot more fun.
And and the season is right here as we close. Again, season for both of these teams starts February 1st. Softball will be taking a trip down to West Florida, play 6 games against some very good competition. The baseball team will stay at home and welcome in Augustana College for a 4-game series, another nationally ranked team. So that should be a very good matchup here at Goodhart Field. And gentlemen, we thank you very much for your time, and very much excited for the upcoming season.
Let me interrupt you. I want to. When we got a minute, I want to tell you guys we appreciate what you guys do from Your Rider Athletics. 1-year anniversary.
That's right.
So we want to say we appreciate what you've done for us, and I'll say this, man, as a smart AD hiring you.
An even better baseball coach. Spring sports are here, and so we can't wait to get started again. Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.